thank you, Jose. I'm going to be very brief here. And first, I do want to apologize for being late. But when I tell you why I was late, I think you will say that it was worthwhile doing. You see, the last time just as Dr. Abernathy was beginning to speak there at the courthouse, I went out to the airport, got in a plane, I had my couple of sons there with me, and we did one little swoop zoom over the courthouse, and guess where we went from there? I've been to George Wallace's inauguration. And yes, I did the same thing over there. We dropped leaflets on George Wallace's inauguration. Okay. And our leaflets were little copies with just the Eagle-Eye newspaper. We just stripped them up so they just make a whole lot of fluttering around falling. They sent up a helicopter after me, but I think I got run in a helicopter. But anyhow, I'm late, but I got here. Okay. Real nice. Greene County's we got the courthouse, and now we're working on our own Air Force. Okay, now in a serious vein, I am quite pleased to be here. I'll forget all the introductory remarks, and I'll thank Jose for introducing my wife here, because you know, I'm always chastised. I get up in front of a bunch of people when she's here, and I get wrapped up in what I'm saying, and I forget to introduce her. So thanks, Jose, for having done that. You saved me. You probably saved a hole in my head for the night. But seriously, I was here yesterday, and I spoke in the courthouse. I have been in the courthouse and the churches in Greene County numerous times, and I see brothers here from all over the Black Belt. I see Sumter County, I see Dallas County. I know we're here from Mobile, we're from Wilcox, Marengo, Pickens County. I see Hale, I see Perry. I see someone here from Bullock, and there's someone here from Macon, I know. And Lord of mercy, we got folks here from Birmingham, too. A long time coming, but as I said in the courthouse yesterday, the practice has been among the slave masters, the white masters have in every instance to conquer and to subjugate a people. In every instance, they have used the age-old device, and it is a respected device of tyrants, and that's the one of dividing and conquering. To divide and conquer. The same mechanism has been used historically here in the Black Belt. And when you have about 50-50 black and white population, you use the dividing line of race. You turn the whites against the blacks, you turn the blacks against the whites, you keep them fighting each other, and you can rule both of them. That's what has been done. But in areas where there are mostly black people, it's already the dividing line of race is not enough to keep the great majority of people divided. So to keep the majority of black people divided, they have to get some Judas niggers to divide their own black people. But now I am saying that yesterday was the end of an old era. Today is the beginning of a new era. And we will be much more charitable to those who worked against us, even though they wore black skins, they were following the orders of the white man. We're going to be much more charitable because we want them to be saved too, along with us. It's going to be our salvation in common, and it's obvious that the only salvation for black people is going to have to come from that people themselves, because nobody is going to do it for you. If any lesson has been learned in Greene County, if this is to be the grading of the examination, if this is to be the evaluation of the entire campaign, there is one lesson that has been learned and should be a golden spike should be driven today to mark this occasion. That one lesson that we have learned is that we've got to do it ourselves. Nobody is going to do it for you, and a people's salvation must indeed come from themselves, because only then can they become full, free, and whole citizens. Citizens of not only Greene County, Alabama, the Black Belt, the state of Alabama and the South, or even this country, but full-fledged citizens of the world. Because this victory that we have won in this small area relates to the rest of the world, black and white, all over this world, because this is the first spark of real grassroots soul liberation that has a success pattern, that the pattern now is spreading all over. There ain't gonna be no such thing now as saying, don't vote for that eagle. That eagle's not legal. It's not going to be, there's no white person now, there's no one in that courthouse, there's no white person in this state of Alabama now that can tell any black person that our own political party does not work. There is no way at all that even their Judas niggas can come amongst us now and say, don't vote for that black party there, see, because we got to get together with them white folks, because those whites have held us down all along. Once we win our own victories, once we build our own strength, and only after then can we deal on an equal basis with the white fellas. And until we build our own that belongs to us, there will be no true integration, there will be no true deliverance, there will be no true equality or political participation, economic participation, social participation, or anything else. You have got to bring something to the table. And that thing that we have brought to the table now in Greene County is political power. The very first time in the history of this United States that such a thing has been accomplished. And to those of you who thought that Judge Hildreth was the absolute Lord and Master, or those of you that thought that Judge Herndon would never be defeated, those of you that thought that Big Bill Lee was the absolute Lord and Master of this county, ask him about it now. Just remember, just try to figure out whether or not it would be the same story that we are celebrating today if we had listened to the instructions of James Dennis Herndon, of Emmett Hildreth, or Big Bill Lee. You can bet your sweet bippy we wouldn't be here if we'd been listening to them, right? By the same token, out here in the boondocks, when you get to the seats of power, when you get to the great cities of this state, yes, I'm talking about Birmingham, neither can you follow the white instruction there if you're going to participate in your own deliverance. If you have any vision whatsoever of your own deliverance as a human being, as an independent, as a man or a woman, you must not listen to the slave masters, because it is not in the nature of a slave master to set people free. Frederick Douglass said over 100 years ago, and I want to close with this, Frederick Douglass said, and I use these words quite frequently in the campaign for governor. I really wasn't campaigning for governor as much as I was trying to give some black people something to vote for so they would get out, and if they voted for me, if they voted that straight eagle ticket, they would sweep other folks in office. That's what happened in Greene County. But I think here in Greene County what happened really is that I carried Greene County because we had so many good folks on the ballot under the eagle. And y'all voted for Branch and Gilmore. Vassy wasn't in this election. Wadeen Williams. You voted for all of the local candidates, and I was the beneficiary of it. But now, the words of Frederick Douglass. He says, without struggle, there's no progress. This was 113 years ago. Without a struggle, there's no progress. Those who profess to love freedom and yet deprecate agitation are like men who want crops without plowing up the ground. They want the rain without thunder and lightning. They want the ocean without the roar of its many waters. This struggle may be a moral one or a physical one, or it may be both moral and physical, but it must be a struggle. For power concedes nothing without a demand. It never did and it never will. Listen to those words. Power concedes nothing without a demand. It never did and never will. He continues further. Find out what any people will quietly submit to, and you have found the exact measure of injustice and wrong that will be imposed upon them. For the limits of tyrants are prescribed, by the endurance of those they oppress. I am so happy that in 1956, Rosa Parks got tired and her feet hurt, and she was not going to take that pain any longer. And she kept her seat, and her feet would not let her stand up and give her seat to a white man. That is what Frederick Douglass is talking about. The limits of tyrants are prescribed by the endurance of those they oppress. Now, just what would have happened if Mrs. Rosa Parks, although her feet hurt, in her mind, had there still been that old slave psychology saying, well, yeah, my feet hurt, but it's all right, because I can stand it. I can stand oppression. I can stand injustice. As long as you got it in your head that you can stand that injustice, you're going to get more of it. As long as you hold still for it. Like I say, if you got a shoe on your foot that hurts and you got the power to take it off, and you don't cry about it hurting. And if you sit down on a tack and you know that you can move and you don't, you can holler all you want to. But if you don't get up and move, you deserve that nail in your tail. And there have been too many feet hurting and heads hurting and nails and tails in Greene County. And finally, the endurance limit was reached and the people seized their own freedom. This is a precious fire. Indeed, it works in Greene County. It will work everywhere else. It will work on a three-party system, and Alabama needs to develop not a two-party system, but we've got a three-party system now. And if it is followed in Jefferson County in Birmingham in 1972, we'll have a black congressman. We will have a black congressman from Alabama. Because Jefferson County is 45% black. If you hold the black vote together and let the Republicans and Democrats, or the Rooster Party and the Republicans, split up the rest of that 55%, if we hold our 45% together, we can have a black congressman representing Birmingham. We could have had about 20 black people in the legislature instead of 2. If it had not been for the Judases in Jefferson County that were telling the people, don't vote for your own folks. Some of them are here today, and I want to be sure that they know that I recognize them, and I wonder why they had the nerve to show up here. But in any case, I will guarantee you this, that this is the last time that I will speak about that misguided Judas. It's time now for them to meet us halfway. We will join with anybody who is working for the common cause of downtrodden black people, and we will lead, under this Eagle Party, we will lead not only the black folks of Alabama to salvation, but all over the South. I am dedicated to that. I will meet anyone halfway, and I hope that they will meet me halfway, out in the light instead of dealing behind the table like they used to. This is the last time you'll hear me say it. I thank you for having allowed me to speak. I'm sorry I was late, but I'm glad I got here, and I love you all. Thank you.